As this Prime Minister raises taxes on food, brings back malnutrition, brings in record-smashing food bank use, the best he can come up with is a bunch of scripted talking points from junior staffers in the PMO. That is outrageous.
Welcome back to the Backbench seat, where you can watch Question Period without sitting through an hour of rehearsed Liberal talking points. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where things get really heated and an MP gets tossed out of the House. Starting us off is Pierre calling out Trudeau's lies over housing.
Yesterday, a senator asked the head of the Prime Minister's own housing agency if there is a federal government plan to eliminate the 3.5 million home deficit that we have in Canada. The answer? No. It's not me saying that. It's his own housing agency.
Mr. Speaker, it is shameful that the Conservative leader is exploiting the very real anxieties and fears of Canadians for clicks and views. And he keeps using homeless people as props. A responsible leader acts on the concerns of Canadians instead of exploiting them for political gain just so he can get his 15 minutes.
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition.
What is shameful is that this Prime Minister is causing homelessness in this country. He's caused the doubling of the number of people eating at a food bank in Toronto. Mr. Speaker, we have a common sense Conservative bill to take the carbon tax off farmers and food. Why did the Prime Minister manipulate and intimidate Liberal senators into blocking that bill? Why does he want to tax food right before Christmas?
What Pierre's talking about here is the fact that the Conservative bill to eliminate the carbon tax on farmers was voted down by Liberal-appointed senators and was instead amended to remove only the carbon tax on grain drying, meaning farmers will still have to pay the tax to heat their barns, and you will continue to pay more for the food they produce.
Speaker, after all the intimidation and threats from the Conservatives towards parliamentarians on 234, it turns out the only farming the Conservative Party cares about is rage farming.
Mr. Speaker, as this Prime Minister raises taxes on food, brings back malnutrition, brings in record-smashing food bank use, the best he can come up with is a bunch of scripted talking points from junior staffers in the PMO. That is outrageous. Canadians are going hungry as Christmas is just around the corner, and a common-sense Conservative bill to take the tax off farmers and food could have helped solve the problem. Why did he manipulate and intimidate senators to keep the tax on the food and make our people go hungry right before Christmas?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, we have an opposition leader who is so ideologically opposed to protecting the planet that he's willing to take Parliament hostage.
Pierre announced that the Conservative Party will use round-the-clock amendments and debates for the rest of the year's season to delay the holiday break for members of Parliament, unless the Liberals reverse their opposition to the carbon tax exemption for farm heating. This might actually save taxpayers a bunch of money, since Trudeau might not be able to take another taxpayer-funded Christmas vacation to Jamaica like he did last year.
The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
A desperate and panicking Prime Minister spent the weekend calling Liberal senators, pleading with them to keep the carbon tax on farmers. Yesterday, he got his Christmas wish. Liberal senators gutted Bill C-234, a move that will keep food prices high while Canadians visit food banks in record numbers. So Conservatives are going to ruin Christmas vacation for this Prime Minister and his Liberal MPs. We will stay here as long as it takes to force them to axe the tax so that Canadians can afford gas, groceries, and home heating. So, Mr. Speaker, how long are we going to be here? Is it 1 week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 3 weeks until this Prime Minister finally relents and cancels his carbon tax on farmers, on families, and on First Nations?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Unlike the Conservatives who had their senators bully independent senators in the other place, we will stand up to the bullies on the other side. That member should be cognizant of the fact that independent senators can make their own decisions.
Now, technically, the Liberal Party does not have a caucus in the Senate, unlike the Conservatives. However, 75 senators in the 105-seat Senate were appointed by Trudeau and owe their positions of power to him. In return, they seem to do what he tells them to. In fact, Trudeau conveniently appointed 5 new senators just in time to vote against this carbon tax exemption bill. But the Liberals continue to lie, saying they have no influence over their senators. This angered Conservative MP Damien Carrick, and things got really heated really fast.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday, Liberal-appointed senators voted to gut common sense Conservative Bill C-234, an action that betrays farmers. For the last decade, this PM has repeatedly made the claim that the Senate and those he appoints to it are independent, yet this weekend proved otherwise. He and his Socialist Environment Minister were busy employing a campaign of bullying and pressure to force his senators to kill this needed carbon tax carve-out. The carbon tax is punishing the farmers who produce the food and the folks that need it. Will this Prime Minister finally just listen to Canadians and axe his carbon tax?
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture.
Mr. Speaker, I think my honourable colleague is well aware the other place makes the decisions on their own. Mr. Speaker, we have and will continue to support our farmers and ranchers in this country.
Mr. Speaker, I know for a fact that farmers are asking that minister to axe the carbon tax. That PM promised that the Senate would be independent, but the actions this past week prove that that is a complete farce. We know he bullied his senators. The PM himself was on the phone over the weekend telling them they had to gut Bill C-234. The Prime Minister lied and his minions continue to lie about
the same time I did knows full well that you can't use that word. I would say the Honourable Member should retract that and apologize. The Honourable Member Battle River Crowfoot.
Mr. Speaker, I will not apologize to that Prime Minister when he continues to lie about the carbon tax and the so-called independence of the Senate.
I'm asking the Honourable Member to apologize for the second time and retract that word. The Honourable Member knows full well you cannot use that word in this chamber. So this is the last opportunity. The Honourable Member of Battle River Crowfoot, will you be retracting that?
It's the truth. It's the truth. I will not apologize to the Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Carrick, would you mind leaving us today?
That's it for the backbench seat. Please don't forget to subscribe, guys, and if you like this video, you'll surely enjoy these two.